Three is all about planning. And what we need to remember is that we have two parts of our brains, right? The primitive brain, which is sort of set in the back of our brain, and the human brain, which is the frontal cortex. Okay, so I've talked about it in the email as well, but please remember that we are animals. And most of us, most of the way that we're evolved, is still very animalistic, except for the fact that we are humans. And what makes us humans is that frontal cortex part of our brain, right? That makes us able to communicate, that we can have language, that we can analyze and be critical about things. For what we know is other animals don't have that ability, but we do. So that's also the part of the brain that allows us to plan. And why is it important in weight loss? Is because if we rely on the primitive brain, the animal brain part of us, it's going to look for pleasure. Remember, the brain is always avoiding pain and seeking pleasure, right? So when you don't have a plan and something happens and the brain signal gets the signal that we're in danger of some kind, right? Some kind of pain, even if it's a hunger, it's going to go, oh, nope, don't like that. And if we don't have a plan, it's going to go back to default. And if the default has been, snacking or drinking or just eating mindlessly, it's going to go back to that. But if you planned on not snacking or eating healthy foods instead, or if you have a plan, like I'm going to have this for breakfast, this for lunch, and this for dinner, then the brain, the human brain, will tell the primitive brain that it already has a plan and not to worry, where you're not going to die. Let's do what we plan to do. What I tell people sometimes is it's kind of like when you travel, right? And you buy tickets. And the tickets, if you have a layover somewhere, or maybe even two layovers, then you plan on having that as your trip. If you didn't have a plan and you said, you know what, I'm just going to fly, let's say you're flying to the West Coast, right? And if you didn't buy tickets at first and you show up and you said, okay, I want to go to the West Coast, say California, and the agent says, sure, I have tickets and you have to stop here and here and here, and then you'll get to California. Then you might be really mad, right? Like you might say, well, how come I can't get there sooner? But if you bought tickets already and you know that you're going to stop at least two times, and you get to the airport and you know exactly what your plans are, then you don't freak out and you just sort of go with the flow, right? Same thing. That's the same exact process that's happening in the brain when it comes to eating. So I really want you to use the planner. You can have your own planner. You can just use pen and paper, or you can use different apps on the phone. I really like the Notes app on the iPhone that I just write down things, or the Reminder app. And think ahead, even if it's just 24 hours, or even if it's just the meal before. Just tell the brain what you're planning to do, and then do that, right? If you don't have a plan, again, it's going to get all these signals, and when it senses danger, it's going to not know what to do. And if you read my email, it has to do with the primitive brain is the subconscious, right? The mindless, the automatic part of the brain. It's going to always default back to something that used to make you feel good. So if having cookies or chips or popcorn or whatever it is, when the brain is unhappy, it's going to go to that and think that it's going to give it pleasure, and you're going to avoid pain, which means you'll be alive. But if that's not giving you the results you want, namely weight loss or finding your natural weight, you're going to be in trouble, right? And it's going to keep defaulting back to that same old patterns. So I want you to plan ahead, whether it's written down somewhere or on your phone, or if you want to even just use our Facebook group to get some accountability so that the brain knows what to expect. Okay? Also, besides food, I want you to plan on how you're going to feel. It's huge. Again, the brain's not going to like it when you don't feel good, whether it's discomfort of some kind, loneliness, boredom, anger, sadness, guilt, shame, all sorts of negative feelings that might come up during this whole process, right? Especially hunger. Hunger may trigger different feelings. Plan on feeling sort of terrible during this process. Plan on it. Just plan on, okay, if I'm not going to snack between lunch and dinner, I might feel some negative feelings. I might really want to snack. I might be really hungry. And if you plan on not snacking, then the brain's going to know that you planned on it and you will just expect it, right? And the worst that's going to happen is that emotion is going to come up and it's not going to kill you. And you're going to remember why you're doing this in the first place. Always go back to your original goals. Right, page 7 in the workbook, right? The 3 C's. What is your goal? That clarity. Hopefully you have clarity about what you want to do, how you want to feel. Alrighty? So plan food-wise, plan how you're going to feel, and really connect the conscious with the subconscious, the human brain with a primitive brain. We have all the tools, you guys. Just have to really use everything that we have and just know that we're supposed to be able to deal with anything that comes up. We were evolved to be where we are today. And, so far we're still here, right? So we felt all kinds of feelings and we're still here. And food is never the answer if you haven't figured that out already. Okay. Any questions or comments, or if you want to have accountability, go ahead and get on the Facebook group and we will be there to help you. All right, I will see you in the next video.